I'm waiting for it to go. We're going to give it a header.
Yeah, stop that.
Welcome to AFC East by NAFCo. I'm Perry Langell. With me is Jeffrey Carey with the, or maybe it's more like the masked singer, I guess. And we have Paul Garrettson, the real singer, with us today, who is doing some karaoke during pre-show. We have an exciting week 2 to cover. A lot shaping up in the AFC East. We've had divisional matchups all week. Why is it that you have a paper bag on your head, Jeff?
Because that was just embarrassing yesterday. Pathetic. We didn't do one thing right. It was a 35-0 smackdown.
Well, Jeff, how did you beat the Patriots as convincing as you did and end up losing to the Bills like you did?
Maybe we just got lucky. I don't know. We knew what our flaws were all off season. We've got no O-line. We've got no protection. Our receivers had the dropsies yesterday. It was just terrible. I think Buffalo was a little bit pissed off last week too.
Well, shut up. You bring that up. All right. Okay, we're talking about new and future, but we had a redo. But I understand. Just, you have Fuller out, right?
Fuller's out. Our tackles are terrible. We got our quarterback hurt.
You had three cornerbacks out.
Yeah.
Inactive at least. So you guys weren't ready to play, I guess.
We were not. It was all on O-line. If you don't have time to pass the ball, you're not gonna do anything. And then we lost Tua. He'll be back in a couple weeks, I think. But I don't care who's quarterbacking. If you don't have time to throw the ball, you're not going to do anything.
Well, don't you think Brissett's more polished than Tua? As far as he had 32 starts in the NFL.
He's got more experience. He's got more experience.
Yeah, but natural ability, you don't think?
Yeah, but our receivers were dropping his passes too. So.
All right. Well, you didn't play the 85 Bears, but the Bills' defensive line is pretty damn good. So, what do you think, Perry?
Well, what I think is I noticed what happened with I blinked. So I got to tell you, I'm checking out the new NFL Game Pass. It's not really new, but it's new to me. I watched the Bills and Dolphins game in their condensed format, what it is they slice it down to 45 minutes. I turned my back and I missed the exact moment where they took, because of that quick format, I missed the exact moment where they took Tua out and they put in Jacoby Brissett. I will say, as a Patriots fan, I like Jacoby Brissett in the sort of backup role. He was drafted as a New England Patriot back in 2016's draft, and he was actually brought in to start 2 games for the Patriots, or I believe 2 games, if not 1. But he was a starter for a game because he was a third-string quarterback, where in 2016 he had the Deflategate suspension with Brady for 4 games. He was serving that suspension. Garoppolo was in as a rookie and he got injured, collarbone. So then Jacoby Brissett came in and actually started from there, and he won games. I think he went 2-0 under Jacoby Brissett with the Patriots. Then, of course, because he had that 2-0, he got traded over,
Indianapolis.
To Indianapolis. Now, I don't know exactly what the acquisition was with Miami and him, but I was like, oh, snap, it's Jacoby Brissett when he came out. Except the thing is, that is not a good sign when you're looking at Tua as your first rounder now 2 years ago, and you're bringing in Jacoby Brissett, and it's not like Tua. Was Tua injured, or was he just taken out because of
he got annihilated by a end rusher unblocked. just all out, just took him right in the ribs. It was a legal hit, but he
Well,
bruised
yeah,
some ribs up.
let me take you back a little bit of history here. Last time the Bills beat the Patriots, besides last year, was against Brissett. So, I mean, that was big for Buffalo, but it wasn't, it wasn't Brady. But we beat Brissett, pretty handily in our first run against them. Then again, the second time we beat Brissett was against Indianapolis, which a game I was at. I went to the snow game when Brissett played on December 2nd of that year of 2000, when Tyrod Taylor was playing, 2017. My wife found those tickets for $6 a ticket on the secondary market. So it was pretty cool. So, when Brissett plays Buffalo, he loses. So, and once again, as Brissett is a Miami Dolphin, he lost against them also. And he threw for 44 times and only did less than 150 yards for 44 throws. That's sort of embarrassing.
Yep, no protection. No protection. Yeah. It's all in the trenches, like they say all the time. It's all about the O-line and D-line.
Yeah, well,
but
last week,
the good thing is it only lasts for a week, and we all get to look forward to the next week. So, and the other good news is we're still in first place in the division. We just happen to be tied now.
Well, no, you're not first place in the division because Buffalo beat you. So head on head, Buffalo is first in the division. Thank you. Take that bag off, though. Take the bag off. Go ahead. You. Who do you play next week?
We play the Raiders next week.
Okay, put the bag back on. Put the bag back on. You play the Raiders.
Hey, David Carr's not looking too bad for the Raiders, but
I'm just telling you, man. I don't see you guys beating the Raiders. But anyway, we'll do that in picks later.
Yeah, it's
what do you think, Gary?
Well, I think it's Derek Carr nowadays. David Carr is kind of long gone. That's his older brother, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah. David Carr bought a house right next to Chucky, so I think he's there to stay for a while in Vegas. They both bought the house the same month. So yeah, Chucky and David Carr are neighbors. Did you know that?
They need to pay. They need to pay him a little bit more.
Well, I think $20 million a year is good for a good 3-2. So go ahead, Terry.
Who's Chucky?
The coach of the Raiders.
John Gruden.
They call it John Gruden's known as Chucky. This is the first.
He looks like Chucky.
Yeah. Oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
I never heard that reference before, and I actually follow John Gruden a little bit. I think I have him on Twitter, maybe. I always found him kind of interesting. So now with the kind of switching gears here, I will say one thing congruent with the AFC East. It seems like the visiting teams are the winners lately. In my Venn diagram here, I'm talking about both games right now. The Patriots beat the Jets. Was it 25-6? And that was, they were the visiting team. Well, the Dolphins beat the Patriots as the visiting team. The Bills beat the Dolphins as the visiting team. And the only matchup that wasn't AFC East totally would be the Steelers versus. Well, I guess the only exception you have so Steelers versus Bills, the Bills lost at home, but then you do have the issue where the So I was going to say where the Panthers did win at home against the Jets. However, I don't know. It's the Jets. I just don't even.
The Jets suck.
Really? Are you serious? I mean,
It doesn't matter where the Jets play.
4 interceptions.
So you're going. So talking into the Jets game, though. Okay. So what I wanted to say though about that is, do you guys think the light uniforms at home is making a difference? The whites at home.
The Dolphins always declare white uniforms.
Here. My wife likes the teams with the guys with the best uniforms. I got to tell you that. And the best butt. That's what she likes. She likes the guys. She picks the team with the best uniforms. Are you going on the same rule?
No, I'm not.
He's more going with the light color because of the heat.
I'm just going with the quarterback's vision. Easier to pick them out if they're whites. Because the Super Bowl has a history of the white team winning more frequently than the darks. That's why Belichick always elects white when he's given that opportunity on his annual basis, basically. So he needs to. He's always, statistically, white has a history of winning there. Those are typically games done in fair weather conditions, typically with a dome in the Super Bowl. Now, so the heat was not actually what I was getting at. That could be a factor, but more what I'm considering is the ability to see your guy. Maybe there's something to that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know this. I'm just sort of opening up that conversation. It seems like the darker ways are winning here, and it's just a pattern that I've noticed.
Jeff,
I think it's just the Jets
real quick,
suck.
Jeff. Yeah. 1 second. Yeah. That's a nice hat. Where'd you get that hat at?
I got my suppliers.
No, it's a nice hat.
He's got a
Is that a new era? Or what kind of hat is it?
Yeah, it's a new era.
You spent money on that, really?
I did. I had to get the new logo.
Well, why did you spend money on that?
Why did I spend money on it?
Really? Are you proud of that team?
Yes,
really?
I was. I bought it before the game.
Are you sure? Okay. There you go. I just want to make sure. All right. Okay, fair. Go ahead.
We're going to win again this year. It's not like we're toasted.
Oh my gosh. You toasted like, I don't know, like a good cereal, man. Toasted oats. All right, go ahead, Perry.
We get to play the Jets twice.
Yeah, but at least the Jets put points on the board this past week.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, a shutout.
Yeah, so Wilson, though, okay, so moving over to the Jets and Patriots game, Wilson, his decision-making was pretty much what made and broke the game there. 3 first-half interceptions. He had a 4th interception to begin the third quarter in their first possession. It's that really is the main story of the game is the interceptions really killed it for them. I mean, when you turn the ball over 4 times, that's hard. It's hard to overcome.
No, but Perry, throw the other stuff into it. They only had 101 yards rushing, passing 186. They had 4 sacks. Zach Jones was 22 for 38. So, I mean, come on. The guy's he's a newbie. I mean, they have to go through the growing pains. That's how it goes.
Sam Darnold is so glad he got traded.
Well, yeah.
He's thriving. He's thriving, isn't he? He's doing good. He's doing fantastic. So.
Yeah, so that's a big factor there. Now, I will say this. Damian Harris had one hell of a run, too. I got to throw this out. Damian Harris, this is the first time where he showed his stuff after this is his 3rd year in the NFL. He basically hasn't played. They've gotten rid of Sony Michel. He's on the Rams now. Damian Harris, though, was a bowling ball on the first possession of the second half of the Patriots. He He broke through 7 tackles for a 26-yard run to get into the end zone. It was fantastic to watch a guy do that. And this was against a defense that I got to tell you, the Jets D this year is nasty. They hit hard. I mean, if you're a Madden player, you call this like a hit stick guy. I mean, like their defense just tackles really hard. Now, with that being said, they have a defensive-minded head coach now, former defensive coordinator of the 49ers. Now, you can tell the defense has a little something to it, especially, too, they were not allowing the Patriots. Here's where the Jets shine and the Patriots did not shine, and the Patriots need to work on, is red zone offense. The Patriots were not able to really get into the end zone. They kicked. I don't have the number in front of me, but they kicked tons of.
Well, that's because they have a rookie quarterback. They don't have the ability to do that yet, but they will.
Yeah, so that's where we're at right now is field goals. Now, with that being said, field goals was another plot line to this game. Nick Folk has actually surpassed Gostkowski's record of 31 consecutively made field goals. Now, this is a multi-season thing. This started off the beginning of last year. He's still on the streak. He made his 31st. He made his 32nd, and he's up to 33 after this game. So I guess there you go. They had to sell for 3 field goals during the game, but that puts him at 33 made field goals consecutively. Now, with that being said, he did miss an extra point during the game, but I guess that we're just going to ignore that. That doesn't count on the field goal stat. Also, though, kickers were just interesting this game. I'm not going to lie. Shout out to Paul, our resident kicker. We had a guy. We didn't. Jets had a guy named Matt Amendola. This other Amendola. I'm used to Danny Amendola. Matt Amendola actually had his first game as a kicker for the Jets. They were having some kind of personnel issue with the Jets. And this guy came on. It's basically who's the guy on our roster at all or practice squad that can kick at all. And this guy's like, I used to play soccer at some point in his athletic career. He was a soccer player. So they just slapped him out there, and he did his best. And his first he managed to make 2 field goals. He's the only person that put points on the board for the Jets in week 2. Is this guy just kind of getting thrown out there because he had some soccer experience? So might as well throw him out there to kick it. His first field goal.
Hold on for a second. When you kick that ball is a 30-pound piece of weight. You're kicking a 30-pound piece of weight if it's wet and all stuff, and that's what you're kicking, and it's very hard to do. I mean, it's really, and then you go to practice and you have to kick it probably 100 times a day. So you have no feet left, literally, by the time you're 30 years old. And I have no feet left now. I mean, I walk and creak and crack every time I walk down the highway or down my hallway. I'm sorry, not highway. It's a hard thing to do, and it's a heavy little thing to do. And you're kicking that 30-pound piece of weight. So these guys are amazing when they kick 53 yards. I could never kick a field goal past 25 yards. I could never have done that. And really, I tell you what, you got to give a lot of credit for these kickers.
Yeah, no, I'll give so credits there. I got to tell you, though, it was kind of fun watching a guy that's not traditionally a full-time kicker go out there. It looked like some old school kicking going on. His first kick went through the uprights totally horizontal. It was end to end, but horizontally end to end while it was like slicing through the air and somehow made it through. And it was like, wow, okay, well, that I guess technically counts kind of thing. And it was he had like a little chip shot, so he did actually put it through, but it was like, whoa. It was a little entertaining. So it added some entertainment there.
Cool. Yeah.
It was weird. So kicking was just sort of this thing. He had a record breaking on consecutive kicks for the franchise record for the Patriots. And you had this guy just going out there trying his best as a former soccer player. for the Jets. He made 2 of his field goals. I think he missed 2 of them and made 2 of them, so he went like 50%. And one of the ones he missed was like a 49-yarder. It was kind of rough there for a guy that doesn't do that permanently. Now, speaking of records, though, something that was brought to my attention during the broadcast, basically the broadcast wouldn't let it be, is that Coach Bill Belichick has the longest career as a head coach in the NFL, in the history of the NFL. This is his 47th year. Now, being a 47th year, that means he started when Sean McDermott was born. His career is as long and longer than the age of every other coach in the AFC East.
Retire.
It's the next
retire.
oldest.
Retire.
He would like to, but I think he wants to see this through and prove he totally has the mission. He wants to prove that he can win a Super Bowl without Brady. That's what it comes down to. So he's going to hang in there with this the current build that they have and into the future for the next.
Sorry.
I think however long.
Okay. Last week, Miami beat New England, right?
Yep.
Okay. This week, Buffalo trounced and ate their lunch and stole their lunch money against Miami. So if you're looking at the scale of things that measure, Buffalo should really have no problem with New England.
I agree.
If Miami beats the crap out of it, I'm just telling you, I mean, the talent and everything else, I think, New England's in trouble this year a little bit. If Buffalo beat the crap out of the team that beat the crap out of you.
I agree. And for a number of reasons. Now, one thing is, I will say it was a competitive loss when the Patriots lost on week 1 to Miami. Harris, and one of the plot lines of this game was Harris with that 7 broken tackles, was sort of playing makeup for the last minute fumble in week 1. So that made it so, well, that just is. But basically, they lost by 1 point. It's not I don't look at that as they beat the crap out of the Patriots, but it was a competitive loss. So in my mind, I got to tell you, power rankings of the AFC East. I agree with you there. I put the Bills at 1. Because they had a competitive loss to the Dolphins, and then they had pretty much a blowout against the Jets. I put the Patriots at number 2. Okay, because they at least when they did make a loss, it was competitive. I put 3 for Miami because they were able to beat the Patriots in Patriots territory, but they lost to a blowout, not a competitive loss, but a blowout to the Bills. It's yet to remain seen.
They also lost their quarterback. They also lost their quarterback. True. Which I think Brissett's better than 2, if that's okay. So that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
He's more experienced, at least. I can. It's debatable there, actually, for real. Now, I do think though that we have right now it feels tightly contested, but I feel like the Bills are that elite team. The Patriots. I have never looked at this season as a Super Bowl contending season simply for the fact that Mac Jones is a rookie. Simply for that fact, I don't look at the Pats to be in the Super Bowl this year. I'm just going to say I said it in the preseason as well. I do think though that I think they're the number 2 team in the AFC East. I don't think that they're going to really rival long-term record-wise throughout the year.
By their coach only. Seriously, their coach is amazing. He is the coach / GM. Is amazing. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that we're looking long term towards a year or 2 years from now with Mac Jones' development. And just like you had to survive the Allen development, right now you're going through the Tua development over in Miami. And I know there's a lot of time left, but I gotta say Wilson did not look nearly as good as that when you had rookie against rookie. Wilson did not look nearly as good and far along as Mac Jones, and Wilson was a higher draft pick. So there's not really.
We need a bitch in the league, right? In our division, right?
I guess it's gonna.
As long as it's not Miami, all right. As long as it's not Miami this year.
But they had to use draft capital to get not as good of a QB, I think, really. And I think that it really helps that the Nick Saban factor, I think, is huge too here with Alabama. But with that being said, you got Tua needing more development as well. So, but that's normal. Like you said, you're looking at a 3-year process on a rookie quarterback. Tua is just starting his second year. And and you got rookie, and then you got Allen, who's now he's starting his 4th year now, and the Brinks truck is already backed up. That's your franchise guy. So there's only one team in the AFC East that has a franchise quarterback, and you got the pieces around him. You got some Diggs, you got everything. So we all know you got most everything that you need. There's some spots on defense, there's some spots on offensive line, but past that, you got your offensive playmakers. We can at least agree on that much. So with that being said, I rank it that way. I go Bills, Patriots, Miami, Jets with the way that things are going. And Miami, I know they beat the Patriots, but it was a competitive loss, and that's why I make that distinction there.
You need to win the division. You need to be number one in the AFC. You need to have a lot of things happening to actually get to the Super Bowl. So that's our goal. You guys want to make the playoff. I got that. But, Jeff, you got a good chance at it. Perry, you got a good chance at that because you got good coaching. But you need to have home field advantage through everything else. And you need to have that week off. And I think the Bills can actually probably do it. I mean, our quarterback had a bad couple games, completions, but I'm happy to see that Kansas City lost. We're in the driver's seat. We should all be, AFC East. We need to go and get behind the Bills a little bit because they have the chance, and we want to shine on AFC East.
Well, I think what could end up happening throughout the season is who do we play? What other division do we all play together this year?
Well, your second team should be Bills. I mean, both of you. Second team should be Bills because we're AFC East. We need to come out as someone who replaces, of course, the.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think we'll end up helping each other out as far as like we might knock off the Raiders. The Patriots could knock off the Raiders. There's some games
Raiders,
we can
you got
win.
Denver 2-0. I mean, what the hell? I mean, we need to be AFC East, buddy, because we are the AFC podcast. Because we need to go and sit together when it comes to the end.
What I'm saying is, I think that our division could knock off some other divisions and help the overall record. You know what I mean? As far as seedings and stuff like that.
But as to attrition, I got that.
Right.
But anyway,
Jeff's question, to answer that one, we are facing the NFC South, and that's where you got the big game on October 3rd, Patriots versus Bucks. And then, so next week, though, Patriots are playing the Saints. NFC South and AFC South. NFC South and AFC are two outer.
So, I mean, the Bills got a cake thing going on. The Dolphins got, but okay. Who do you play, Jeff? Who do you play next week?
Playing the Raiders next week. Raiders are 2-0.
No.
They squeaked one out last week.
Okay.
They got a little lucky. They got a little lucky.
We're gonna find out if Carr's real or not. Okay.
Yep.
Got that going.
So, and I want to say this, and then I'll conclude my coverage of the Pats Jets game, which is great officiating. And I look for anybody listening to this, great officiating from John Hockley, that's referee 83. Man, he has these explanations spot on for the fans. I'm not kidding. Like, it's one of those rare cases where it's like, look for that guy. If you see R83 and he's leading that crew, he's a crew leader, and he's fantastic.
That's some research, buddy. That's awesome. Good for you.
So here's the note taking for this episode is that I'm now watching on the NFL Game Pass on my laptop, and I just pull up MS Notepad and just take notes and save it as I'm watching the game. So it's like, and he made like these two separate ones where there were complex decisions, and he explained it in just such a way. Even the announcers watching were like, "Wow!" And I took down I do up R83 and stuff. And apparently his father actually was a ref in the NFL as well
for a long time. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are aware of him.
Yep.
Father. Okay, well now look at son to be actually. I think if he keeps that up, he's going to be ready to be like crew chiefing the Super Bowl soon.
All right, okay, guys, want to go to the picks?
Yes.
Okay. We got the Bills playing the Washington team. First of all, what's wrong with that?
Don't you wish you were playing Fitzpatrick again?
How about the Washington Redskins? I mean, really. I mean, I want to play the Redskins. I don't want to play the Washington team. That's just me.
I think it's going to stay that way for a while, actually.
I'm not digging this politically correct crap. I'm sorry. I mean, I want the Indians to win. But, anyway. I like Indians. I date a lot of Indians. It's fine. Okay. Well, this week, Bills play Washington. What do you guys think? No fit. You got the backup guy, and Washington's doing a good run right now. So and they're playing off the bye, not bye, but a Thursday night. So they have 10 days to get ready for the Bills. So I don't know what that means.
I think Washington will actually score some points, unlike the Dolphins did.
I think so too. I agree with you. I think Bill's defense has really stepped up. We've got two really good edge rushers, new guys, and what the teams are doing against the Bills against Josh Allen is that they're rushing 3 or 4, and they're keeping everybody else back to try to stifle their passing game. So what Buffalo has to do is they have to start running. So I don't know. I mean, you have 7 men. In the day, you know how you shut the Bills down 2-3 years ago. You put 8 men in the box. It means everybody up front, and you dare them to throw. Now it's opposite. You put 8 men in the box in the back, and you dare them to run. So that's the problem with the Bills right now, because every defensive coordinator in the past off seasons has seen what the Bills can do, what they did last year. So I think the trick is to actually try to run. But that's just me. I think the Bills can get it straight and get around. Not the Bills can go and take, because our talent, team for team, and the home field advantage, I think the Bills can go and win this. So I'm going to think it's going to be like 28-14. What do you guys think?
I 100% agree with your score that you gave. How is have you checked out Washington's secondary? Do they have anybody that can contain like a dig?
No. The best secondary in NFL is the Miami Dolphins. You see how that went? True.
And I will say, Jeff, that is a somewhat difficult team to play in Madden, in the sense that they take out your top 2 receivers, because you have 2 two X factor players on both sides of your offensive or of your defensive line in the corner positions, it makes it very difficult. So my point being is that that is like a really big shining star for the Dolphins right now is their 2-star cornerbacks.
Right. They're high paid too.
By the way.
Yeah, very high paid.
That can also lead to flaws. Like I said to, and that's why I said to Paul last week at our kickoff party, I said, man, can you imagine if they managed to keep Stephon Gilmore in Buffalo? Because then you would have Tre'Davious White and Stephon Gilmore on both sides of that defensive line. Like that would just have been like it would have been like the what do you call it? I guess it wouldn't be the steel call the water curtain.
No.
It's the water.
It would be like Golden State. It would be like the Warriors, Golden State Warriors. It would be like Steph Curry. Yeah, it would be that.
Yeah.
And the guy came from Oklahoma come over. I mean, it would be the dream team.
But what was your response to that, Paul, when I suggested that concept? You may or may not recall.
I don't, because I probably was drinking.
That's okay. So what you said, that's okay. What you said was, that's why there's a cap. And so that's where you get into where you just said to me, Jeff, that the Dolphins team, they have a cap. They're paying these two cornerbacks big money. So, you do get into wondering if that's healthy for the bottom line or not, but time will tell. So that's all I wanted to get at there.
This is why I listen to sports radio off season, because you get to see all the chess pieces move during the off season, and you're building a team and you're losing a team and you're doing things. And that's when football is exciting to me, is when you're building your team in the off season for trying to beat this cap going on, then the draft and everything else. So it's fun off season in that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, except this year you guys didn't have to do. Dang. Oh.
No. We did. We kept Milano. We kept all of our line. We kept everything the same, and we added a couple pieces, and such as Sanders and all that stuff. So we're badass because we kept just everybody and all the consistency. So that's what you need to do. So we went that way.
You're correct, and that was the right move at the time. So with that being said, Jeff, what's your thoughts on the scores for the Bills?
For the Bills in Washington, it's going to be about 28-10.
Okay, so we're all in the same area.
Yep.
Okay, so moving over to the Dolphins Raiders for a 5 p.m. Sunday. What are we looking at, Jeff?
I think Brissett's going to end up starting the game. I don't think Tua's going to be ready. And if he is ready, he's still going to be sore. So I don't know how effective he'll be. So we're going to go with Brissett is going to start the game. I think he has something to prove also. And I think after being embarrassed yesterday, the Dolphins as a team have something to prove. And I think Derek Carr's luck is going to run out, honestly. I know it's in Vegas, and we have to fly out there, but I think Flores is going to have them better prepared for the game. It's going to be a tight game. It's probably going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to say like 21-17.
21-17. And you think that's going to be a Raiders win?
No, it's going to be a Dolphin win.
21-17.
Yeah.
I'm not discouraged, Jeff. I mean, I could see them doing a bounce back. I can see the Raiders going down because they need to play a bad game. I'm going to say the Raiders play a bad game, but I'm still going to think because it's home, I think they're going to win 21-17.
Man, I mean, okay. So that's logical. I'm gonna say I think it's I'm thinking 21-14, and here's why. I'm just going to shave a little off of that. And I think it's going to be a Raiders win. Sorry, Jeff. But, I think they're going into the to the Death Star. I think it's just not going to necessarily pan out. I just don't see the Dolphins pulling that one off. I just don't. With that being said, I'm going into this analysis thinking, well, what if the Dolphins secondary shuts down the Raiders passing game? Well, then it does become a matter of the O. That research I don't have on the Raiders O line.
I'm thinking their money. I mean, the Raiders' money is their receivers. So, but the best secondary in the league is, of course, the Dolphins. So I think it's going to be closer. The best secondary in the NFL is the Dolphins. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I agree. I agree there. I think you're going to, though, see a lot of the running game become a bigger factor if they can shut down. So if the Raiders can shut down the Dolphins' receiving core, then it becomes a matter of what the lines. It becomes a matter of the trenches at that point. And so that's what and lose.
You're right.
And I don't have the research on the Raiders' defensive lines right now to make.
Can you tell me one Raider defensive lineman's name? I can't tell you.
And that's where I go.
Couldn't tell you.
Yes.
I know the Dolphins need to establish a running game. We're doing this running back by committee. We're using 3 running backs. You got Gaskin, Ahmed, and Brown. And Brown's supposed to be the power rusher. In the last 2 games, he's had chances to gain 2 yards and has been stuffed. So I'd like to see Gaskin get the full-time shot, maybe Ahmed for like a 3rd down or something. But I don't know how you can be a running back and like play every 4th running play. There's no consistency. There's no fluidity to the game that way. So I think Gaskin's going to bring himself out.
I have DirecTV. I will watch that game. I will. I mean, it's going to be a fun game to watch.
So I can say this. So there's 2 guys on the lines for the Raiders that I can recognize. So defensive end, they have 2 decent defensive ends in Nagaku and Nasib. They're both actually pretty solid. Not the top tier elite, but solid players. They do have a guy that I consider very top tier, perhaps even elite. A crazy man that you are aware of, Paul, and that's Richie Incognito on there as left guard.
He was inactive last week, by the way. He was inactive, so that was his love there.
He used to be a Dolphin too, didn't he?
Yeah, no, Richie was inactive last week, so that's funny.
Yeah. He's kind of he's quietly one of the mental cases of the NFL, though.
Well, you keep him on control, just like your girlfriend.
But yeah, he's one of those players that's difficult to.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So, the Patriots next week, they're facing the Saints in New England. The Saints are not the team that they were a year or 2 years ago. There is no Drew Brees.
One game ago. Winston's gone off the edge, buddy. I think you're gonna beat the crap out of him. You are.
Yeah, they're having a blow up because they also, you got Michael Thomas having his problems with the team, and yeah, I mean they can rely a bit on Alvin Kamara to do his thing. That's not going to be enough to win. I mean, you put Taysom Hill out there. He's a gimmick. At the end of the day, he's a gimmick player. But he can be utilized, but you need other tools. Now, so they don't have really an arm. You got Hill. You can, even if you quarterback by committee, I just don't see that really panning out. I think you look at the Saints, they're getting kind of not doing so well, except then you have this weird anomaly where they were able to beat the Packers 30-38. I don't know where that's coming out of. I didn't watch that game, but then they couldn't beat the Panthers. It was 7-26 last week. I don't know. It must be that the Packers just didn't show up pretty much September 12th.
Oh my God, what's going on now? What's the score now?
They're showing up now. It's 35-17.
Okay.
What's 35-17?
I don't have ESPN.
Green Bay.
The Packers. Yeah. Well, speaking of tools, we talked about, I believe the Patriots will beat. Here's my upset of the week. The Patriots will beat New Orleans because Winston blows up, and that's how it goes. That's how he is. I mean, I lived in Tampa for 5 years, and I watched him, and that's all he got there. And just, he's going to blow up, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be pretty. That's how it goes.
It's just like how Bill Belichick really likes to play against rookie quarterbacks. He just has rookie quarterbacks numbers as a whole historically. You don't have, as you got to see against Zach Wilson with the 4 interceptions on week 2. Underwhelming quarterbacks as well just fall into that category where Belichick's able to out scheme a quarterback that's not confident, and the Saints do not have a confident quarterback, or even a guy that they really are. They don't really have their man of the future. They don't have a man of the present or a man of the future. It's a little reminiscent of the Patriots last season with Cam Newton, although I think Cam Newton actually had more talent and had definitely had more accolades, and I think he overall has more talent than Winston or Hill. And I think that what you're going to see a team without a quarterback. I think you're going to see the Patriots. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be more like a 17-7. That's my outlook. 17-7 Patriots. They're also playing in Gillette Stadium too, so that's a factor.
Should I send my Browns back to Louisiana for somebody tomorrow?
You should. By the way, they're used to wearing that bag. By the way,
the New Orleans.
Yeah. Okay, here's my. I'm going to equal Perry's score on that. You're going to see Cam Newton be a Miami Dolphin within 4 days after the game. Cam will be a Miami Dolphin as a backup for 72. Then we'll find out what happened.
Do you think that he's going to actually? You think he'd be willing to be a backup under Tua?
He's going to be a backup for $2.2 million a year.
I don't think he's going to be willing to take a backup role. That's why the Patriots just cut him. That in cap space, I guess. But really, it comes down to Newton is a wash-up guy that's a starter.
Here's the deal. I mean, you're available or you're not. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you're a player in the NFL. One of the big things is if you're available to play or not available to play. But right now, if he shows good, I think he'll be a Miami Dolphin. I mean, that's a lot cheaper than a Watson, right?
True, but here's the thing: he's going to demand that he's the starter.
There's no demand when you're sitting at home watching TV.
I think he's going to wait for a better opportunity, actually.
I'm with you there. I predict he's going to wait until somebody like an actual starter's out, and they have anybody. And it's like the starter. And some team's going to lose a starter and their backup and be on a third string that's like also the punter, and then that's when he's going to sign as a starter for the rest of the year. That's the way I see. I'm serious. I don't see him being willing to be behind Tua. I completely don't see. He's a me guy. It comes down to I think, Paul, you're underestimating how selfish Cam Newton can be.
There was 4 quarterbacks knocked out yesterday.
Here, you're an NFL team. You're sitting there. You're waiting for a hooker. She doesn't show up in 2 hours. So that's supposed to be there. And finally she shows up. But you know what? You found someone different. So I think Cam Newton's going to jump at it.
I don't think Flores will take him.
Okay. You have a MVP sitting there at home.
Former MVP.
Yeah, but that's that. At the end of the day, that's the big act when I say he's got accolades.
I guarantee that Cam Newton will be a Miami Dolphin within 2 weeks. I'm just saying.
Heard it here first in the AFC East.
Pretty bold prediction.
So, okay. So with that being said, so what's your thoughts on Saints Patriots, Jeff?
Oh, I think the Patriots are going to win. It's going to be I think they're going to have a breakout game, actually, 31-17. Winston will throw a couple interceptions. I just don't.
Go beat him, right?
What's that?
I think Jones would beat him, right?
Yeah, 31-17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you speak about Jones too, I just gotta say there were a few drives last week. I know it was against the Jets, but there was a few drives last week where he looked, I hate to say it, a little like Tom Brady, a little like him in his play style. It's a relief to see this when they go in and are able to just wallop all over the Jets, unlike last year where they could barely squeak out a win with a kick as time expired under Cam Newton ran offense. So it's just it's night and day now. They were way better off with Mac Jones than they were last season with Cam Newton, if you're using the Jets as a dipsticking. And that was against an Adam Gase coached Jets team that Cam Newton struggled against. So I think there's something to Mac Jones, but that's where I'm going there. And so I think we have our scores on that game. Now let's go over, though, to the Jets are facing the Broncos. So this is basically who is the worst team? What team is worse, the Broncos or the Jets?
Well, the Broncos are 2-0, right? And the Jets are 0-2.
Somebody fiddling.
Am I right?
Yeah, somebody playing with a microphone.
I'm sorry. The Broncos are 0-2. 2-0. The Jets are 0-2. And Bridgewater's playing very well. So what do you think? Geez, pretty easy math there, right?
You're thinking?
And I think it's in Denver. Hello?
Yeah, I hear Denver. I'm going to check out Denver's history here for the season.
Denver's 2-0.
Well,
the 2 teams in the AFC that are 2-0 have not lost. That's the Broncos and that's the Raiders. So I think that streak continues with the Broncos playing the Jets.
I think they're going to beat the Jets. They have not been tested, though, but the Jets are not a test. That's the thing. They played the Giants and they've played the Jaguars. They're not really – they've lucked out and haven't really been tested yet, and the Jets are not.
Well, the Jets played the Patriots last week, didn't they?
The Jets.
Okay.
This week.
The Broncos. Right. I'm sorry.
So the Jets are not a test either. I do think, though, that the week after the Broncos are tested against the Ravens, and the week after that they're playing the Steelers. But I think you're looking at a 3-0 Broncos going into against the. But I think the Ravens are the test. It's not. It's one of those ease of schedule things. They're 2-0, but who are they playing? It was the Giants and the Jags. The Jets, I don't have. If they could beat the Giants and the Jags, though, they can beat the Jets. They just, they're not. They're a good bad team. Is really what I think the Broncos are. They're a very good team for the lower tiers of the NFL.
Yeah, they're the spoilers. So I gotcha. So I think the Jets will go. Maybe score 1 touchdown, and I think the Broncos will score 24 points.
7-24.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
What do you think?
I'm gonna say 6 to. I would say 6 to 24. I don't think that they're gonna get into the end zone.
they're gonna miss the
I'm gonna be a little bit more optimistic than that. I'm gonna call it 24-17. I think the Jets are gonna score a couple touchdowns. Their game in. The Broncos can't. They're 2-0. They're gonna be a little overconfident. They're playing the Jets.
Really?
It happens. It's like a trap game,
Oh, okay, dude. All right.
They can't be terrible. They can't be terrible all 17 games.
Yeah, and you sleep tonight saying that, man. I swear to God.
Oh, the Jets aren't going to win, but they're going to score.
It's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. Okay, good for it, man.
They're going to score.
All right.
So, that being said, we've covered everything at this point. Is there any new points that anybody wants to bring up before we close this out?
Yeah, Pittsburgh sucks. Green Bay sucks. Well, they're winning tonight. Never mind. I'll withdraw that. But yeah, by
the Lions though.
Oh,
is Rogers Geico? Is that what it is?
Rogers is. If we're plugging, I don't know why we're plugging insurance companies.
Oh, by the way, go red meat.
Yeah, what's up with the red meat thing?
Oh, I forgot our sponsor's name. So
okay, so you just went with red.
You weren't here.
Yeah, I hear you. I wasn't sure. Well, because then I saw. Well, Jeff said, "Oh, I was gonna have some buffalo meat, and now I can't get that out because they didn't." And I thought, "Well, gee, Jeff, how about you fry it? Did you fry it Patriot meat last week?" What would Patriot meat be? I guess you just find a patriotic guy, you butcher that person.
No. I think our podcast without you last week started up bad, slow. But at the end, I think Jeff and I really nailed it. I think we had a really good podcast last week. So, at the end.
You guys are great. You guys are great. I just thought, wow, this is interesting, this red meat thing. And then yeah. So I made the description.
I'm making T-shirts up. Red meat. NAFCo red meat. I am. I'm doing 10. Jeff, give me your address.
All right.
I'm doing red meat T-shirts. NAFCo. Got it? No, I'm serious.
Oh, I love
it. I'm serious.
Well, maybe we can get that onto a merch site there and actually pull in a little cash out of the podcast. But we'll talk about that.
We're going to lose our vegan listeners.
No. Well, because we have so many. Anyway, I'm going to do like teeth with red meat NAFCo in the middle of the teeth. So, and I do our podcast thing underneath it. Perry, set it up.
You will. Yeah. So this podcast is sponsored by West PA Systems, your 21st century electrical build contractor, and Dakota, the DuBois Area Council on the Arts, as well as Red Meat, something good to eat. And peace out.
Later. Maybe we can get Winn Dixie to sponsor. The beef people.